112 years ago, the UP Board of Regents had a vision to develop their true firstborn college that will spearhead national development through agriculture. At the foot of Mount Makiling, Edwin B. Copeland, together with 7 faculty and 12 students, embarked on the journey to create the UP College of Agriculture, or UPCA. Through its 112 years of existence, the college has produced over 1,000 technologies and variety of plants and animals, 9 national scientists, over 30 outstanding young scientists, and more than 18,000 graduates contributing to agricultural development. UPCA, now College of Agriculture and Food Science, or CAFS, has been continuously contributing to nation building through its instruction, research, and extension function. A mere 10 years after establishment, the college was able to start breeding works with the production of sugarcane varieties with high productivity and resistance to Fiji and mosaic disease. In the 1920s, the importance of agriculture was intensified and UPCA was recognized as neighboring countries began sending their students to Los Baños because of the high quality of education. In the 1930s, breeds with superior characteristics such as the Burkhala pig, Los Baños Cantonese chicken, and Philippine cattle were developed. The 1960s was a fruitful decade for research. Makapuno, a coconut cultivar often made into a dessert, was pioneered and perfected. Meanwhile, the Dairy Training and Research Institute was the first in the country to freeze buffalo semen, paving the way for artificial insemination of local carabaos. Along with the establishment of UPLB in the 70s, the college received the prestigious Ramon Magsaysay Award for International Understanding, Asia's counterpart for the Nobel Peace Prize. In the same decade, the C4 plants were developed. The soil test kits were produced in support of the Masagana 99 program, and the mango induction technique was introduced. Continuing the production of quality research outputs in the 1980s, techniques to minimize post-harvest losses, the accelerated fish sauce manufacturing process, and the rapid test kit for the detection of pesticide residue on vegetables were developed. The 1990s saw many new varieties across species or crop types, including Sinta papaya, the first Philippine-bred hybrid, UPLB Gold, a durian variety, and Doña Amelita, a musaenda named after the wife of former President Fidel Ramos. The award-winning National Corn-Based Farmer Scientist RDE Training Program, or FSTP, was also established around this time and still remains as one of the university's primary extension programs. In the field of instruction, the book titled Integrating Sustainable Agriculture in the BSA Curriculum, the UPLB College of Agriculture Experience, was published in 1999. At present, the College of Agriculture and Food Science, or CAFS, continues to be the premier institution of higher learning in agriculture and food science and remains committed to nation building through its instruction, research, and extension programs. In order to produce the best graduates, all of our courses are outcomes-based education, and continuous improvement of the curriculum is being practiced to meet the challenges of the 21st century. As testament of excellence, CAFS is constantly recognized by different organizations. In research, we continue to implement relevant studies with focus on the 12 priority commodities to address food security. Moreover, Technologies are constantly developed to aid in responsible food production. Supplementing these are extension activities to disseminate the knowledge generated to improve food productivity and livelihood of the people. We believe that present technologies will future-proof our food systems. Some of our notable developments are iDetect, Coraginam, Plant Health and Pest Clinic, Pest Management Tools and Techniques, Smarter Pest Identification Technology or SpeedTech, Snap Hydroponics, Drone Technology, Rapid Immunofilter Assay for Virus Indexing, Nanofertilizers Fertigrow, Formogrow, Nanobiosensors, Biochar, we at the College of Agriculture and Food Science will continue to promote and nurture a culture with innovative yet conscientious minds and cutting-edge skills to lead and serve the country and the region. We are one college with one goal towards sustainable food systems.
Good morning, everyone. Tajahao. Welcome to the 7th episode of Aggie Peace Talk 5.0. This episode is entitled AgriCOOLture. Okay, so with emphasis on the word cool. This program is brought to you by the College of Agriculture and Food Science, UP Los Baños, and this is organized by the CAF's webinar committee. Everybody, my name is Kamla Zaira Lavadilla from the Institute of Animal Science, and I will be your host this morning. So we would like to welcome some 50 participants in Zoom, and we also would like to greet a warm good morning to our audience from Facebook Live and YouTube. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. This season's Aggie Peace Talk brings you the coolness in agriculture, youth champions. And for this episode, we are introducing yet another youth champions from the international and the local arena, who will talk about, number one, the humble journey of an agriculturist, and the second talk will be the life of PI, or the life of PI, establishment and development of insect microbial resources for controlling pests. So everybody, we have one full morning ahead of us. Sana po ay nandyan na po kayo sa inyong pinaka-komportableng upuan, because later on, we are looking forward with our interaction with our guest speakers. So we hope that you are excited as much as we are to learn from them. But before we begin, let me remind you of our few webinar house rules. So first of all, we would like to remind you that please turn off your microphone so that it will not interfere with our guest speakers. Secondly, for questions, you may type them in our Q&A tab or use the comment section in our Facebook page and YouTube channel. And later, we will read them one by one. So to get your e-certificates, please answer our evaluation form that we will be sending after the webinar. And lastly, please do not forget to talk about this webinar using our official hashtag, hashtag Future of Agriculture. So don't forget, emphasis on the word cool. So now, may we ask all our panelists to please turn on their cameras so that we can have yan, so that we can have our photo op. So Miss Camille, our technical support staff, will be taking a screenshot for everybody. So look at the camera, everyone, and smile. One, two, three. Okay, one more time. One, two, three. All right, there you go. You may now turn off your cameras. So medyo nakita na po natin pahapyaw kung sino ang ating mga speakers ngayong umaga, ano po? And I know that you are so eager to interact with them and to engage with them regarding our advocacies in forwarding the coolness or the swag in agriculture. So to formally open this program is none other than the Dean of the College of Agriculture and Food Science himself. So he is the father of calves, and we would like to greet him a very belated Happy Father's Day. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Dr. Elpidio M. Agdisit Jr. Good morning, Dean.
Hi, good morning, Kamla. Thank you for the greetings. I hope that you can hear me properly.
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Thank you, Kamla. Of course, to our speakers, Dr. Yushin Nai from the National Chongqing University of Taiwan, Mr. Rico Hernandez, Municipal Agriculturist of San Luis, Batangas, to our hosts of today's webinar, headed by Ma'am Tintin Adjova, the Institute of Animal Science, to the webinar committee of the College of Agriculture and Food Science, headed by Dr. Pompe C. Santa Cruz, Dr. Barbara Kawili, and Dr. Edelisa A. Dorado, to the men and women of the College of Agriculture and Food Science, to all our guests, participants in today's webinar, a pleasant and blessed morning to all. I wish to give my warmest greetings to you all and thank you for attending our 7th episode of Aggie Peace Talk 5.0 AgriCOOLture Youth Champions. As the Dean of the College, I am truly overwhelmed with your support. Thank you for your love of agriculture. Because of you, our dear youth, we are trying our best to better not just the Philippine agriculture, but the curriculum as well, so that when you become forerunners, you are truly equipped. They always say that farmers are aging and there is a declining interest in agriculture among the youth. But you being here today is a testament that we can make agriculture great again. We have invited cool champions in this field to show that each one of us can be successful and to serve as an inspiration to everyone and make you realize that you are now taking over the scene. As someone who is older than you, it truly makes me happy that you are there to take over what our forefathers have laid down. To our speakers, our heartfelt gratitude for lending us some of your time and expertise. You are cooler than Superman, Iron Man, and any other superheroes. You are heroes in your own way as your contributions help feed the world. Go, Super Aggies. Again, thank you. And I'm seeing a brighter future wherein food security will not be a problem anymore. Hiraya Manawari, God bless us all. Kamla?
Wow. Thank you so much for that very warm, inspirational talk, Dean Peeds. So this morning, it really has set foot the direction of our webinar. So yan po, I love the challenge that he gave us, no? Our young agriculturists and future agriculturists are now taking over the scene. It's time for us to become the new youth champions in agriculture. And so, today we are joined by one youth champion. O, di ba? He is our very own graduate of BS Agriculture, major in horticulture, specialized in crop production and management. Currently, Dean already mentioned that he is a proud government employee as the municipal agriculturist at the local government of San Luis, Batangas in the Philippines. He is also the secretary of a League of Municipal Agriculturists of Batangas Incorporated. So, kids, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, are you excited to see our first youth champion? Okay, today he will share with us his humble journey as an agriculturist. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Rinco P. Hernandez. Hello, sir. Good morning.
Hi. Hello, good morning everyone. Isang mapagpala at mapagpalayang araw sa ating pong lahat. Sa lahat ng nakikinig at nanonood nitong webinar series po natin ngayon. First and foremost, I would like to thank ang ating college, ang UPLB College of Agriculture and Food Sciences for making this happen. And I'm really honored na you've chosen me as one of your agriculture youth champions para magsalita sa umagang ito. So, nakakataba ng puso na ma-appreciate and ma-recognize kung ng naging tahanan ko for 4 years. And I think masasabi ko naging tahanan ko rin until now. Every time na tayo bumabalik sa UPLP, lagi kong naaalala yung ating mga experiences nung nakaraan, and never namang nawala sa puso ko ang UPLB sapagkat ito yung nag-hone sa akin as a person, and even up to this day ang ating UPLB, ang College of Agriculture and Food Sciences, ay patuloy na nakakatulong ko dito sa aking profesyon. So once again, maraming salamat po. And without further ado, let me start my presentation. Once again, good day po sa ating lahat. Basically, ang aking presentation would be about yung mga regular programs and special programs dito sa aming opisina, sa Office of the Municipal Agriculturist dito sa bayan ng San Luis, Batangas. Next slide po. Yeah, well, I was introduced a while ago, pero just to give a brief background about myself. So I was once a student from UPLB. I took up BS Agriculture, major in horticulture, specialized in fruit crop production and management. So masasabi ko na I was one of the few na mga kabataan na, well, nung umpisa, medyo nahirapan akong alamin kung ano yung gusto ko sa buhay. Probably because hindi pa bukas yung kaisipan ko sa mga bagay-bagay. And I'm still finding myself yung purpose ko sa life. And nung tayo ay nakapasa sa UPLB, hindi ko rin akalain na tayo ay ang tatahakin natin landas ay yung sa agrikultura, because I was also one of the few na hindi rin maganda yung notion pagdating sa agriculture. But through time, nag-iba yung aking mindset, probably because mas naintindihan ko yung current situation ng ating mga farmers. And once kasi malaman mo yung kanilang kasalukuyang nararanasan, magkakaroon ka ng puso through time, and you would realize na I think I had to step up at gumawa ng kapamaraanan para matulungan sila. Next slide. So basically, ang opisina namin ay naka-attach sa Department of Agriculture, pero kami ay devolved na sa LGU. So ang nagpapasahod sa amin ay ang local government unit namin. So ang aming immediate boss ay yung ating LCE or yung local chief executive or yung ating municipal mayor. Pero ang Office of the Municipal Agriculturist ay nakamandato para tulungan ang ating mga marginalized farmers and fishermen, kasama na rin ang ating mga mangingisda. Next slide. Bigyan ko lang kayo ng brief history about San Luis. So the town of San Luis was formerly called Balibago, and it was also a part of the southern barangays of Old Taal. So bahagi ang San Luis ng Taal before. And accordingly, it was named Balibago because of its proximity to Balibago River, which separates San Luis from Taal, and the river, which was so called because of its ever-changing course, which is vernacular means pabago-bago. Next slide. So in terms of geography, the municipality of San Luis has slightly sloped terrain located at the foot of the mountain of Bawan in the south. It is bounded by the municipalities of Taal and Santa Teresita on the north and by Alitagtag on the east, while on the west by Balayan Bay. The town is 24.3 kilometers from the capital of the province and 108 kilometers from Manila. So San Luis is a fourth-class municipality. We are composed of 26 barangays with a population of 35,591, and we have 3,401.33 hectares in terms of land area. So San Luis is predominantly an agricultural municipality, and 73% of its land area is devoted to agriculture. So pagdating, hindi natin tinutukoy lang dito yung sa vegetable area, even to sa livestock area and the poultry farms natin. So, and then we have 120 hectares devoted to high value crops, particularly vegetables. Next slide. So for this webinar, I have to discuss later on yung regular programs and special programs ng aming opisina, and of course yung regular programs and special programs ng fisheries, and of course yung goals natin for the years to come. Next slide. Okay, before I continue, bigyan ko lang kayo ng heads up. So ang aming opisina ay, ang aming bayan ay fourth class. So meaning, pagdating sa manpower, medyo kakaunti kami, compared dun sa mga cities and first class municipalities. So aming office, we have municipal agriculturist, salary grade 24. I'm so sorry. And then agricultural technologist, salary grade 10. Agricultural technician, salary grade 6. And we have one administrative aid. So meron lang kaming 4 na permanent positions, and the rest mga JOs or job orders, So mapapansin po natin na malayo yung agwat noong department head sa mga staff niya pagdating sa salary grade. Kasi nag-vary kasi yung dami ng empleyado depende sa class ng municipality. So kapag city or kapag first class, meron pa yan after nung department head, which is yung municipal agriculturist. Usually meron ding municipal agriculture officer, magkaiba pa yun sa MA. And then we have senior agriculturist, meron tayong agriculturist 1, 2, etc. etc. So once again, depende yun sa class ng municipality, yung dami at or bilang ng mga empleyado within the office. So ano naman difference ng municipal agriculturist sa municipal agriculture officer? So a municipal agriculturist has a representation allowance and traveling allowance. Ang MAU naman wala. So yun yung difference nila. May mga munisipyo na walang MA pero may MAU. And then meron namang munisipyo na may MA ka na, may MAU ka pa. So sa case po namin, we only have MA. So next slide po. So isa sa mga regular, pag sinabi natin regular programs, ito ay hindi lang namin programa, most likely programa din po ito ng ibang munisipyo. So alam naman po na lahat na ang aming tanggapan ay namimigay ng seeds, seeds, quality seeds. Sa pagdating sa amin, sa case namin, we choose, sa East West Seed Company kami nakuha ng seeds. Kasi yun yung akma doon sa aming lugar. So, ang aming ginagawa, kung ano yung akma sa aming area, what's suitable sa area namin, yun yung aming kinukuhanan ng seeds. So, para hindi masayang yung mga seeds na binibigay namin at siya yung mag-germinate na ayos. So pagdating naman sa rechargeable knapsack sprayer, usually kasi binibigay ng mga LGUs or ng regional offices ay yung manual na sprayers. Pero kami kasi medyo nag-level up na rin kami in a way. So when we say rechargeable knapsack sprayer, may battery siya, charge siya, itindot na lang din siya para naman magkaroon ng pagkakataon ng mga farmers na makapagpahinga na kasi mahirap din naman yung manual, nakakapagod din naman po yun. And yung aming sprayer na pinamimigay ay dual type, meaning pag nasa field ka and then nawala ng baterya, pwede silang mag-manual. So ganun po yung aming ginagawa. Next slide po. So, pagdating po dun sa seed distribution, maibalik ko lang, meron kaming allocation para sa mga clients, walk-in clients. Meron kaming allocation for legitimate and registered farmers. So, bakit namin iniiba? Kasi yung allocation namin for walk-in clients, yun ay nire-repack. I think dyan tayo aware, no? May nire-repack kami, yung may mga labels like mustard, pechay, sitaw, palaya. So yun yung pinamimigay natin sa amin. Ito yung mga backyard na mga kliyente po natin, na mga mamamayan po natin. Sa farmers po kasi, yun ay libre na pinamimigay. Sa farmers po natin, meron kaming pinapatupad na scheduling ng tanim. Ang usapan namin dyan, hindi libre yung seeds, and after ng harvest nila, ibabalik nila yung cost ng seeds na ibinigay, but meron silang 20% discount. Bakit namin to ginagawa? It is to give them accountability and responsibility dun sa pinamimigay nating buto, kasi napakamahal po ng buto. Hindi naman kami basta-basta nagbibigay ng mga depektibong mga binhi. So ito talaga ay high yielding varieties at talagang pinagkagastusan. So at para rin magkaroon ng sustainability sa programa, para meron din kaming ipamimili ng another set of vegetables, kasi hindi naman sa lahat ng pagkakataon ay malaki ang pondo ng munisipyo o kaya malaki din ang allocation na binibigay ng regional office. So hindi na at saka alam naman natin ang proseso sa government, nag-undergo lahat ng bidding. So medyo matagal yung proseso. So ayoko na pong mangyari po 'yon. Ayoko na yung medyo nagtatagal, knowing na meron tayong ini-implement na scheduled planting. Pagdating sa scheduled planting, ang mga farmers po natin ay kina-cluster. Okay, we have 5 active barangays na involved dito. So lahat ng mga ampalaya farmers ay ginugroup, and then ginugroup din namin yung mga sitaw farmers natin, and then yung eggplant farmers, tomato farmers, and ano pa ba? Baguio beans farmers. So sila ay ginugroup, kina-cluster, and within that group, nagkakaroon kami ng subgroup pa para ma-cluster sila sa schedule ng pagtatanim. Example, pagdating sa ampalaya, meron kaming sineset na 1 hectare na total na area na dapat tamnan ng ampalaya. So hindi naman lahat ng farmers kasi ay hektarya ang lupa. Meron dyan na square meters lang. And then usually nga hindi pa owned. Anyway, so ginugrupo namin itong mga farmers na to, and then as long as yung magiging total niya ay 1 hectare. Sa ampalaya kasi ang target namin lagi 2 hectares dyan. Sa other crops ay 1 hectare. And then we did a series of a workshop to determine kung kung gaano kung ano yung interval ng pagtatanim. Example, sa ampalaya, para magkaroon kami ng sustainability or sustained production, kailangan after a month may pasunod ka na. So, ganun po yun. Sa sitaw naman, at saka okra, dapat every 2 weeks meron ng pasunod na tanim. Sa kamatis, sa talong, sa sili, every 21 days. Siling panigang po yung tinutukoy ko. Yung siling lomi, kami ay every 2 months kasi medyo matagal po ang buhay ng siling lomi. And based on our experience, kapag hindi mo talaga i-schedule yung pagtatanim ng farmers at hahayaan mo na lang silang magtanim kung ano yung gusto nila, nagkakaroon po talaga ng overproduction. Kaya naman po ay napapansin po natin sa ibang probinsya po sa Pilipinas, lalo na sa, I think, Benguet pa yun, nagkaroon po tayo ng overproduction sa kamatis. And nung pandemic last year, lalo na last year, nagkaroon kami ng overproduction sa palaya. So medyo hindi namin yun na-control. Lalo siguro na medyo kami na-stress kami doon sa impact ng pandemic kasi ang aming gusto lang ay magkaroon ng mag-survive yung ating mga farmers. So hindi natin sila masyadong na-obligad that time na ito dapat ang itanim. So we just provided them yung seeds at yun nga, hindi namin na-control yung pag-allocate sa kanila. Well, understandable naman yun. Pero at this point, para hindi na uli siya maulit, we make sure na sila lahat ay naka-schedule at sila lahat naman sila ay tumatalima or sumusunod sa pinapatupad ng aming tanggapan. So dito sa slide na to, pinapakita natin yung gulayan sa barangay project ng Office of the Provincial Agriculturist. At meron din kaming Green Thumb project dito sa aming tanggapan kung saan nagbibigay kami ng libreng agriculture inputs sa mga registered farmers. Dapat po registered sa RSPSA o doon sa Registry System for Basic Sector in Agriculture. So lahat ng interventions natin ay doon lagi nakabase. Dapat sila ay rehistrado sa aming tanggapan. Okay, so dito naman sa aming programang ito, sa livelihood program na to, at the end of the program, kailangan silang magbalik at least 5% noong kanilang income. Para lang magkaroon sila ng accountability din. Hindi puro doll out. No? Kasi masyadong masasanay pag laging libre po ating mga farmers. You know what? Ang akin na-realize through the process, para din siyang pag-rear o pag-ano sa mga bata sa bahay. Parang ganun eh. I think kailangan hindi lang sila mas spoon-fed, mas spoil sa mga binibigay natin. I think it's very important na turuan natin sila na huwag umasa sa government, maging autonomous sila, at yun nga magkaroon ng shared responsibility. Ano po? Next slide po. So, dito naman, meron din tayong tractor operation para sa land preparation po natin. Ito pong traktora po natin ay mula sa Department of Agriculture sa Corn and Cassava Program. No? So ito po ay iginawad sa aming association, sa Bonillo Farmers Association noong taong 2017. Take note, 2017 lang po nagkaroon ng traktora. Ang ating mga magsasaka, ang ating mga organized and registered organizations. And before kasi sila ay nagre-rent lang sa mga private owned na traktora. So ang difference lang po dito, mas mura po ang singil sa pagpapatraktora sa renta, no? So ito po ay per oras, I think, per oras. At this point, 1,400 pesos per hour ang singil kapag miyembro ka, pero mas mahal, I think nagiging 1.5 or 1.6 per hour ang singil kapag non-member ka. So ganun po dito sa amin. Kasi ngayon kasi ang kalakaran sa amin, I think umaabot na sa 1.8 hour yung singil sa commercial. Dito naman sa kabilang picture ay insurances po hatid sa inyo ng Philippine Crop Insurance Corporation. Ito po ay free insurance. So paano makaka-avail ang ating mga farmers ng free insurance? So basically, kailangan po natin magparehistro sa munisipyo dun sa Registry System for Basic Sector in Agriculture, yun sa RSPSA. Yun lang po ang number 1 na requirement. At paano mag-register? Magdala lang ng 3 2x2 pictures at photocopy ng valid ID ang ating mga farmers. Usually po, I think ang instruction sa amin ay sa isang family, dapat isa lang na farmer ang magparehistro. Ang mga halaga din po sa RSPSA po natin ay ito rin po ay basehan po ng ating national government, hindi lang sa pagbibigay ng interventions pagdating po sa agriculture, pati na rin po sa mga SAP na yan. So doon po nila binabase. So wag na lang magtataka yung mga farmers natin kapag minsan hindi po sila nakalista. Kasi I think, sabi ko nga, shared responsibility, dapat magparehistro po muna tayo. And ang mahalaga din po dito, kaya nga nabanggit ko po na dapat one farmer lang sa isang family ang magparehistro kasi para hindi po magdoble yung binibigay sa SAP. Well, yun lang naman po ay example ko lang kasi may mga mag-asawang farmers eh. So, ang iniwasan po natin yung magdoble-doble kasi gusto naman natin maibigay o may pamahagi natin yung iba pong ayuda sa ibang tao. So, yun nga po, pagdating po sa insurance, hindi lang po ito sa crops, kasama din po dito yun sa livestock at saka sa fisheries. Sa crops po, ang covered po ng insurance ay as long as nadaanan ng kalamidad like typhoon o kaya drought, and then kasama na rin yata ngayon ang pests and diseases. So ang instruction po sa amin, ang mga farmers ay kailangan magpa-insure na agad bago magtanim. Hindi na pwedeng after kalagitnaan ng pagtatanim ay nagpapa-insure. So hindi na po siya covered noon. And then sa hayop naman, sa crops pala, every after harvest kailangan i-renew po yung pag-apply for insurance. Doon naman po sa livestock and poultry, kailangan po every year po nire-renew yung pagpapa-insure. And kailangan po pag nagpapa-insure po tayo, magsasubmit po tayo ng picture po ng ating alagang hayop. Okay? So ito po magiging basehan po ng PCIC para po kapag magke-claim, for example, ang ating farmer, yun po yung basehan nila. For example, kulay brown pala yung, sabihin natin kulay brown po yung kambing. Tapos nung nag-claim ka naman, kulay black pala. So magkakaroon na po yun ng problema, no? So hindi na po siya tally. So yun po ang kahalagahan po ng mga attachments po yun. Yun. Once again, free po yung insurance po iyan. So sa lahat po ng mga farmers natin out there, pwede po tayo magpa-insure po ng ating mga halaman at mga alagang hayop. So malaki-laki din po ang ating nakukuha dyan. I think sa kambing, per ulo yata ay 2,500 ang nakukuha. Ang problema lang po natin at this point, kasi siguro maunti po ang manpower natin sa PCIC, at saka yun nga, medyo hindi pa bumabalik sa normal ang operasyon sa kanilang tanggapan, ay medyo mabagal lang po yung proseso nung pag-aayos ng balikbayan sa ating mga farmers, no. Anyway, ang mahalaga naman po dito ay may nasisiguradong may babalik sa ating mga magsasaka kahit medyo matagal. Wala namang problema po doon, ano. So yun. Pagdating sa livestock, kailangan po ay namatay po siya dahil sa sakit, hindi po dahil sa aksidente. Kung siya po ay nabundol ng sasakyan, ay hindi po yun covered kasi required po ng ating mga hayop ay hindi nakagala or yung hindi pa pwede yung mga stray animals. So kailangan nakatali po sila or nakakulong sa kanilang kulungan. Next slide po. So covered din, actually nagulat ako na covered pala ng Agriculture's Office din yung sa vaccination ng aso at pusa. Although sa iba pong munisipyo and cities, meron po kasi sila mga veterinarians, meron silang opisina for that. Sila yung nagko-cover po noong dog and cat vaccination, even yung ruminant vaccination. Pero since kami ay fourth class municipality, kami na rin po nagtuturo ng mga aso. So ito po ay libre na ginagawa po natin, lalo-lalo na kapag kami ay nagko-conduct ng massive dog cat vaccination every first quarter of the year. Bakit po every first quarter of the year? Kasi po very prevalent po ang rabies, lalo-lalo na kapag summer. So sana before summer, na-vaccinate na po natin yung ating mga aso at pusa. Ang problema lang po natin ngayong pandemic, medyo hirap po tayo sa pag-i-implement po nito kasi ayaw po nating i-risk po yung ating mga kasama sa opisina na halos seniors na rin po yung mga nagtuturok ng aso at pusa. So, yun. Well, vaccinated na naman sila. So, I think pwede naman silang rumeso back ulit or bumalik ulit sa vaccination. Ito po yung libre once na kami ay nag-vaccinate. Pero usually, do sa mga walk-in clients, may bayad po yan. Merong 75 pesos sa ibang munisipyo. Sa amin po case ay 100 pesos per vaccination. Mas mura po. Kaysa po kung pupunta kayo sa mga clinics. Kasi sa clinics, I think, ay 500 pesos ang singil. Or hindi ko sure kung nagtaas na po ngayon. Pero yun nga, para mas maganda, kapag kami nag-conduct na massive anti-rabies vaccination, magpaturok na lang po ang ating mga aso at pusa. Usually po, ang tinuturokan po natin ay at least 3-month-old na mga aso at pusa. At bawal po yung paliguan after 3 to 5 days. Dito naman po sa isang picture ay pinapakita po natin yung ruminant vaccination conducted by our Provincial Veterinary Office. So sila po yung nagko-conduct po niyan. Next slide. So dito naman po, meron din po tayong pagdating sa animals po natin, meron po tayong dinidisperse na cattle. Ito po ay galing sa Department of Agriculture. Last year, I think nag-distribute kami ng 15 heads of cattle and 5 heads of carabao. So ito po ay dinidisperse po natin sa ating mga magsasaka. Once again, dapat po i-registered. And paano po ang sistema po niyan? Usually po kapag nanganak po yan, kung ano yung anak niyan, yun po ang ibabalik po sa aming opisina. At kung sino po yung nakalista po sa amin or nag-apply para sa dispersal, sila po ang priority mabigyan. Babalik po sa amin, supposedly ay dumalaga na baka. Kung in case lang po na ang maging anak po niya ay lalaki, meron kaming pinapatupad na kailangan nilang ibenta po yung anak. In case lang po lalaki and then bumili po ng dumalaga. Para po yun po ang i-disperse po natin. Mas mabilis po yun. Kaysa antayin pa nating umanak po ang mga ito ng babae or na baka. Dito naman po sa isang picture, pinapakita po natin yung native pigs po natin dito. Yun po ay bahagi po ng ating community-based participatory action research or yung CPAR project po natin mula sa Department of Agriculture Bureau of Agricultural Research. So dito po, pinaparami namin ang native pigs sa San Luis, and at this point, nandito na kami sa processing. So i-discuss ko po yan maya-maya. So dito naman, ang sistema naman ay, for example, binibigyan namin si farmers ng 2 inahin at saka 1 barako. So ang ibabalik lang po nila sa opisina ay 2 babae at 1 lalaki na baboy. Na siya din naman po namin ililipat sa ibang magsasaka. Once again, registered. Next slide. Dito naman sa slide na to, pinapakita po natin na ang aming tanggapan bilang kami ay extension workers ay, basically nag-e-extend ng impormasyon sa ating mga magsasaka and even dun sa mga non-farmers po natin. So, dito sa picture na to, pinapakita natin na we have seminars on seedling management. Mahalaga po yung seedling management kasi kasi yung iba po nating farmers ay nag-o-order pa ng seedlings, no? So, we want na sila na mismo ang maturuan ng tamang pagpupunla para maging source of income din nila ng association, para income generating na rin siya, and at the same time hindi rin po medyo magtagal yung pagtatanim kasi minsan yung mga orders natin medyo nagtatagal, so nade-delay yung time of planting. Then we have also seminars, ito sa UPLB, I think sa Binhing Pamana. Ito ay organic fertilizer and pesticide production and application seminar sa ating mga teachers and sa mga barangay. So tinuturuan din natin po yung mga yan na mga ganyang bagay. And yung other po mga seminars po natin ay about sa financial management, kasi mahalaga po na maturuan natin ng mga kasasaka natin pagdating sa bookkeeping, farm records, sa paglilista ng mga gastusin, ng mga sales. Kasi yun, I think yun yung lacking sa mga farmers po natin dito. Paano mo masasabi na kumita sila kung hindi naman nakalista ang mga gastusin? Diba? So, mahalaga po yung recording. At yun pong recording na to ay bahagi din po ng GAP program natin, yung Good Agricultural Practice Program. Next slide. Yan, meron din kaming program. Well, natapos na naman ito pong aming project with LCDFI, Land Bank Countryside Development Foundation Incorporated, I think. Ito ay yung pagtatayo ng demo farm, and then yung farmers po natin ay tinuturuan ng natural farming. So, well, tapos na yung program, but I think instilled pa rin naman sa mga farmers yung mga natutunan namin with the foundation. So, ang masasabi ko lang po dito, hindi lang po lahat ng seminars po natin ay conducted by the LGU or the national government, in particular yung DA. But of course, yung trainings po namin ay conducted din ng mga private stakeholders po natin. Well, ang Foundation ng Land Bank bilang government-owned naman, government naman siya. So, madaming sectors yung involved po natin para ma-uplift yung farmers. So, hindi siya nakakahon sa LGU alone or the government alone. So, madaming involved. Ano po? Next. Yan, nabanggit ko po kanina na I think madami na rin po ang native pig sa amin. So, I think it's about time na may process po natin ito, mga baboy po natin. Just recently, pinasinayaan po natin yung aming meat processing hub dito sa Barangay Bunliw, at pinaproseso po natin yung ating mga native pigs into native pork, tocino, tapa, and longganisa na ngayon po ay binebenta po ng ating mga miyembro, at usually po dinadala po natin sa mga kadiwa centers, sa kadiwa stores, sa tienda, and of course sa aming opisina. No? So, I wish na later on ito po ay mag-boom at makatulong sa ating magsasaka. And of course, syempre, makapag maranasan ng ating mga local consumers yung mga local products po natin na gawang San Luis. Yun po yung ating tinataguyod. Ang maganda rin po dito sa native pig po kasi yung pinapakain po natin dito ay yung mga reject na gulay. Well, hindi naman po reject na pagkain. Yung kami nag-swill feeding. Baka kasi mag-react yung iba, ay baka maging cause ng ASF. Well, fortunately po ay kami po ay ASF free. Kami ay nasa pink zone, and hopefully ang bayan ng Taal ay maging ASF free na rin para bumalik na kami sa yellow zone. Yun nga, safe naman po yung ating mga native pigs kahit na kumakain sila ng mga reject na gulay. Ang maganda po dito, hindi po nasasayang yung produce po ng ating mga farmers. Even doon sa mga rejects, may pinagdadalhan pa din. Okay. So, mura-mura lang ang aming native pork products. So, every 250 grams, binibenta namin ng 100 pesos lang. And yung mga ingredients na ginamit dito ay all natural. So, takalikin natin ang native pork products ng Barangay Bunliw or ng Bunliw Farmers Association. Next slide. So, ito po, isang malaking bahagi po noong aming ginagawang mga proyekto ay yung pagkoconduct po ng participatory rural appraisal na kinonduct po ng University of the Philippines Los Baños noong I think taong 2016 and kinonduct din ng Department of Agriculture noong taong 2017. Mahalaga po ang PRA para po ma-assess kung alin po ang mga pangangailangan ng mga magsasaka, ano yung mga problema, ano mga pangangailangan pa, at ano yung mga solusyon para po ma-bridge po yung gap. At isa sa mga nakita po natin yung mga problema po dito, number 1, yung insufficient capital, number 2, yung patubig, and then number 3, yung access to loans, and number 4, yung sa marketing. So lahat po noong mga ito ay ating in-address at I think pakikita nyo po yan sa mga susunod nating mga slides. So meron po tayong techno-demo farm din, conducted naman po ng East West Seed Company, pero hindi naman po kami restricted sa East West. Madami rin po kami mga seed companies na ini-invite para mag-conduct ng techno-demo farm. Next slide po. So ano ito po, nandito na po tayo sa punto kung saan ilalatag ko po sa inyo yung mga special programs ng aming tanggapan. Next slide. So, itong pinapakita po natin ay ang Farm to Table program ng aming opisina. Ang Farm to Table program po ay naglalayong makatulong sa ating mga marginalized farmers na nakatuon po sa marketing, hindi lang sa production, kundi sa marketing. At this point, kami po ay nagdi-deliver. We have San Luis Farmers Association Incorporated. Nagdi-deliver po kami sa Rustans Super Centers na ngayon po ay bahagi na ng Robinson Supermarket. We started delivering noong August 2018. So it's our magta-third year na po kami ngayong taong ito. Ang maganda po dito ay nagkakaroon po ng madaming options ang ating mga farmers. Mas tumataas po ang presyo ng kanilang produkto kasi hindi lang sila naka-restrict sa pagdadala ng gulay sa local market. Just to share with you, we started in 2017 yung local marketing kung saan ang LGU po ang namimili noong mga produkto ng ating mga farmers at kami ang nagsisilbing middleman at nagbebenta noong kanilang ani. Pero ang maganda po nito, bayad agad si farmers. So lahat po ng mga ani po nila ay based on the prevailing market price nung particular day po yun. Inabayaran namin sila. And then kami na may nagsusulong sa kung saan man, sa Lemery, sa Palengke, sa Calaca, sa Batangas City, sa Tanawan. Siguro ang naging problem lang naman namin dito ay pagdating po sa packaging. Kasi usually kapag ang sitaw, kahit yan ay first harvesting mo lang, syempre maganda pa ang kalidad niyan, at hindi maganda pagpapake, I think nagiging iba rin yung kalidad niya. And eventually, nagiging iba rin po yung presyo niya. So kahit na binayaran namin ang farmers namin ng mataas, tapos pagdating sa local market ay parang hindi sila nagagandahan. Medyo bumababa po yung presyo. So medyo nalugi kami doon sa part na yun. Well, yun naman, in-address po namin sa mga farmers and tinuruan namin pagdating sa post-harvest handling. So, doon naman kami pumasok. So, usually po, ang nakita po namin dito ay through time, umuusbong yung mga little problems naman and nasolusyon na naman po ng aming tanggapan. Next slide. So, ito po ibaba po ng aming tanggapan. Ito po ay medyo kung mapapansin niyo po ay yung mga gulay po natin ay nasa sahig. So mali po ito, hindi po ito nagpa-follow dun sa ating good agricultural practice. Kasi ito 2017 pa, although nung time pong yan ay dinadala po ang kanilang ani sa aming baba ng opisina at kami yung nagte-trade ng mga gulay na yan. So mamaya makikita nyo po yung improvement din natin pagdating po sa handling po ng mga products. So, makikita rin po natin sa picture na to, nagtitinda rin ang ating association sa mga iba't ibang establishments kasi na-invite sila, lalo na kapag may mga special na okasyon. Next slide po. kung ang munisipyo po ay may farm-to-table program, ang Jollibee Food Corporation naman po ay merong Farmer Entrepreneurship Program. So, ang JGF po ay halos kaparehas po ang layunin doon sa farm-to-table program namin. Pero ang maganda naman po dito, yung local implementing partner, kami yun, ay nag-undergo muna ng training. And then after the training, tinuturuan namin yung mga farmers nung mga, parang nagre-re-echo kami ng mga ginawa namin sa training. And then, unti-unti, yung particular association, which is yung Balagtasin Farmers Association, ay gino-groom para maging ready na supplier ng Jollibee Group Food Corporation. Jollibee Food Corporation, rather. So, at this point, luckily, sila ay accredited supplier na, and hopefully this year ay makapag-deliver na sila ng salad tomato. So, ang maganda po dito, meron din silang tulong na pinansyal pagdating sa gap certification, and then sa soil analysis, at doon sa mga kagamitan na gagamitin nila sa pag-deliver. So, ganoon naman po ka-intense ang support ng Jollibee Group Foundation. Next slide po. Noong 2018, nag-purchase po ang aming LGU ng delivery vehicle para po magamit naman sa pagdadala po ng gulay sa local market at even sa Rustans. Yan ay noong 2018. At this point, meron na sariling sasakyan ang San Luis Farmers Association Incorporated para sa naturang programa. So dire-diretso lang po kami nagpapasalamat sa Diyos at matiwasay po natin na patuloy ang ating mga programa. Ngayon po, ang ginagawa po namin, we top yung Bonlio Farmers Association naman pagdating sa local marketing para po magkaroon ng madaming options ng farmers. Kung mapapansin po natin, we make sure na lahat ng associations po natin ay may kanya-kanya pong proyekto. Ang Salufa or yung San Luis Farmers Association sa Rustans, ang Balagtasin ay para sa Jollibee delivery, yung Bonlio Farmers Association ay sa local marketing at saka sa native pork processing. So may kanya-kanya po silang proyekto at hindi sila magkakaroon ng competition. And in a way, matuturuan po natin sila maging autonomous. Next slide. Yan. So, ang nakakatuwa po dito, bukod sa Department of Agriculture, nandyan po ang National Irrigation Administration kung saan nagbibigay sila ng libreng patubig. Bigyan ko lang kayo ng very brief na history. Nung dati ay hindi po libre ang patubig po ng NIA. So kapag sila magpapatayo ng irigasyon sa isang particular na lugar, binabayaran po ng mga magsasaka yung kanilang konsumo ng tubig. Pero nung simula po, noong po si Presidente Duterte, ay napalipat po ang NIA under their management sa Office of the President. At ang ginawa po nila ay libre na yung itinatayong irigasyon sa mga bayan na pagkakalooban nito. So sa picture pong ito ay 10 million worth irrigation system na pinapatakbo ng generator. At ito po ay sa pakikipagtulungan din ng ating Congressman Abu, ang ating Congressman ng 2nd District. Dito po, bagamat po libre po yung irigasyon mula sa NIA, ay hindi naman po libre ito sa magsasaka. Of course, para po sa repair and maintenance, kailangan po sila maningil ng very minimal na singil. Usually ginagawa po nila ay 5 pesos per cubic meters. Mas mura po sa sinisingil sa Barangay Waterworks na 15 pesos per cubic meters. So at this point, we have 2 irrigation systems na pinapatakbo ng generator, and we have 8 irrigation systems na pinapatakbo naman ng solar panels. So we have a total of 10 irrigation systems in a span of 2 years. So maraming salamat po sa National Irrigation Administration. Next slide. Ito naman po ay ang napakadugong PRDP o yung Philippine Rural Development Program ng Department of Agriculture, kung saan well, madami naman po itong programa, hindi lang naman sa farm to market road, pero sa on our case, ito po ay farm to market road na bahagi ng iBuild. Ang maganda lang po dito, well, ang mahirap muna dito ay kailangang magsimula ka sa butas ng karayo, napakahirap. On our part, kailangan kong gumawa ng feasibility study, and then madami pang mga consultations, puro kuyatan, and napakadugo. In all simplicity, napakadugo po nitong PRDP. Pero napatayo na po natin itong farm to market road just last year, I think. So ito po ay sa Barangay Kalumpang East and Kalumpang West. And I think ayoko na mag PRDP muna at this point, medyo nakakapagod. Pero maganda siya para po sa rural development po natin sa ating mga bayan-bayan. Next slide. Ayan. So pakikipagtulungan po natin sa provincial government, sa Provincial Agriculture's Office, meron po tayong pinapadala mga farmers from San Luis papunta sa South Korea para magtrabaho ng 3 months para maging farm workers. So kaya ang tawag dito ay seasonal farming. Ang maganda po dito, kaya siya ay 3 months, in a month ay kumikita po ang ating mga farmers ng net income na 60,000. Yan, a month. And then, parang after 3 months lang sila doon, after a month, babalik ulit sila doon for another 3 months. So, usually 6 months sila in a year doon. Pero dahil sa pandemic, naputol po itong programang ito at ako'y umaasa na kapag tapos na itong lahat ng nararanasan natin ngayon ay bumalik po itong programang ito. Kasi napakadami na po namin natulungan ng mga farmers po natin. Ang maganda rin po dito, yung mga technology na meron sa South Korea ay ina-adapt naman dito sa San Luis, lalo-lalo na sa kamatis. Next slide. Ayan. Ito po ay last year lang. Pinatuyo po sa amin yung automated weather station mula sa Department of Agriculture. Ito po ay para po malaman po ng mga magsasaka kung kailan ba talaga best magtanim, kung kailan uulan, para mapaghandaan po nila yung mga unpredictable weather conditions po natin. So kung alam po nilang medyo babagyo na, teka muna, hindi mo na magtatanim or magpapa-insure na ako, di ba? Ganon, para po makapag-prepare sila. Medyo mabawasan po yung magiging impact in case magkaroon ng typhoon, for example. And of course, lalo na sa drought, kailangan maging handa ang mga farmers natin dito sa mga hindi natin inaasahang mga pangyayari. So yan, kaya itinayo yung automated weather station mula sa DA. Sa Batangas, we have 2 automated weather station, isa sa Lares, sa Lipa, at isa sa San Luis, Batangas. So 2 pa lang po sa Batangas ang nabibigyan po ng AWS na na-access naman ng ating magsasaka as long as sila ay magda-download ng app. So yan, maganda din po ito para sa ating mga common na mga mamamayan para malaman po natin kung uulan pa, yung chances of rain, kung maglalaba ba ako for a particular day, mga ganun. Okay, next slide. Ayan. Dito sa picture na to, ay pinapakita po natin yung mga GAP certified farms po natin. Last year lang ay nakuha ng ating mga 20 farmer cooperators ang kanilang GAP certification. And by the way, this program is part of the community-based participatory action research ng Department of Agriculture, Bureau of Agricultural Research or DA-BAR. So, kami po ang pinakamarami sa Calabarzon. We have 20 GAP certified farms. And ang maganda po nito, natuturuan natin ng mga farmers po natin na makapag-produce ng quality products. Nasisecure po natin na okay po ang ating kalikasan dahil pinopromote po natin yung magandang environmental management. Of course, yung workers safety rin po, kasi lalo-lalo na kapag sila ay nag-a-apply ng mga pestisidyo. And yun nga, pagdating sa pestisidyo, halos hindi na rin sila nag-a-apply ngayon. And kung mag-apply man ay last resort na lang po nila at gumagamit sila ng green labeled na pesticides. Ang maganda rin po dito ay nag-improve din yung mindset ng mga farmers natin, lalo-lalo na sa record keeping. Iniipon nila ang kanilang mga resibo, sinusulat po nila yung mga harvest po nila, kung saan dinadala, pinapresyohan, and nalalaman po nila yung income po nila. Ako'y napaproud po dito sa proyektong ito dahil napakahaba po ng naging proseso bago sila mag-gap certify. Madaming series of trainings and seminars po. Maganda po dito ay budgeted po ito ng DA bar. Kaya mas mabilis po yung pagkakaroon nila ng gap certification. So maraming salamat po sa DA bar. Next slide. May dagdag ko lang po sa gap certification po pala. Yung gap certification po kasi ay requirement din po ng Rustans and ng Jollibee. Kaya napakaganda lang po dahil sumulpot itong programang ito ng tamang-tama lang, ng akmang-akma sa pagkakataon. Kasi need na need po yun ang ating mga magsasaka. So this slide shows you yung pong ating Kadiwa on Wheels na ginawa po namin last year. Ito po ay bahagi po ng ating pakikipagtulungan sa DA para po matulungan ang ating magsasaka sa pagbebenta ng kanilang mga produkto, and of course yung matulungan ng ating mga consumers lalo na nung pandemic kasi hindi sila nakakapunta sa mga merkado. So kami na lang po yung dumidirekta po sa kanila. Next slide. We also have eKadiwa, yung online shopping po. So, ang mga farmers po natin kasi ay nagdadala ng produkto sa aming tanggapan, and then through online yung mga farmers, yung mga consumers naman natin ay nag-online marketing. So, ang ginagawa po namin, kami nakikipag-transact sa kanila, and then usually pinipick up na lang nila sa opisina yung kanilang orders. So, pre-order system po ang aming ginagawa. So, yan po yung eKadiwa. Ito, lumabas lang din po nito noong panahon ng pandemic. At patuloy po namin ginagawa. Next slide. Meron din po kaming Urban Agriculture Program. Ito naman po ay sa pakikipagtulungan po ng ATI o yung Agricultural Training Institute. Ito ay, ang programang ito ay patuloy na ginagawa ng ating mga schools, lalo na mga ating faculty members. Nag-provide po ang ATI ng set of seeds at saka vermi para masimulan yung mga kids po natin. I think nag-harvest na sila po ng mga pechay, ng mostasa, ng kangkong, at patuloy po yung ginagawa sa kasulukuyan. Next slide. Meron din po kaming duck layers distribution. Ito pong programang ito ay binahagi po natin sa 4-H Club, isang youth organization ng mga magsasaka, mga young magsasaka. So binigyan namin sila ng project para sila ay may papagkunan ng income. And of course, para hindi sila kung ano lang ginagawa sa bahay. Nakatungangan, nag-ML, o kaya nagbibisyo, okay, mag-alaga na lang kayo ng itik. Next slide. So sa fisheries naman, ito yung mga regular programs natin. Medyo paspasan na lang po natin ng kaunti. Next slide po. Meron kaming distribution po ng hook and line sa mga registered fisher folk po natin. Once again, kailangan po sila i-registered sa RSPSA o kaya po doon sa BFAR Fisher Folk Registration at even doon sa boat registration po natin. Meron din kami livelihood program na hatid sa inyo ng Department of Environment and Natural Resources Office, at ito po ay para sa matulungan ang ating mga fisher folk organization na mapagkunan ng alternative source of income. So in this case, meron po tayong bagoong SMB. Yung SMB stands for Samahang Mandragat ng Banoyo. So kami patuloy na sila ay patuloy na nag-produce po ng bagoong, at ito po ay patuloy ding binebenta sa puntong pong ito. Madami na rin po silang kita, malaki-laki na rin. So kung gusto niyo ng bagoong, pwede kayong umorder po sa kanila. Next slide po. Meron din pong insurance sa mga mangingisda, lalo-lalo na po doon sa may mga bangka. So once po yan ay nawala, o kaya ay napadpad po ng malakas na alon, pwede pong may ma-avail po na balikbayad ang ating mga mangingisda as long as sila ay insured. Next slide. So sa special programs po natin sa fisheries, medyo kakaunti po ito dahil ang priority po kasi namin ngayon medyo sa upland pa, no? Pero pag po medyo okay na yung agriculture sector po natin, tayo ay magfo-focus sa fisheries. Sige po. Next slide. So meron kaming giant clam seeding. Ito po ay sa pakikipagtulungan sa B4. And recently meron po kaming ni-launch na San Luis Fish Sanctuary. Ito po ay isang marine protected area upang magkaroon po ng espasyo at pagkakataon ng ating mga isda na mangitlog at maparami ang isda po natin dito sa bayan ng San Luis para madami rin pong mahuli ang ating mga isda kasi for the longest time ay siguro sa overfishing na rin in a way, medyo konti po yung kinikita ng ating mga isda and very evident naman po na talagang dumami ang isda po sa San Luis ngayon. So ang very crucial po dyan ay yung coastal law enforcement. Kaya meron tayong bantay dagat. And of course yung deployment po natin na marker buoys dito sa ating fish sanctuary para po hindi po siya pangisdaan ng ating mga isda. Next slide. So ano po yung ating goals for the years to come? Ano nga ba? Ang aking mga pangarap pa. So gusto ko po sana ma-improve yung trading post and facilities. Magkaroon, I think kasi nabanggit sa akin nung regional executive director po ng DA last year na magtatayo sila ng trading center sa San Luis, kagaya po ng sa Tanawan. So hopefully magtuloy pa rin siya. And then ngayon po, we are planning na ma-expand po ang ating plantation crops, particularly po ang coffee and cacao. Kasi po, we all know naman po na ito ay malaki ang global demand. And then, of course, yung access to loans para po medyo magkaroon naman ng sapat na puhunan ng ating mga farmers. And hindi lang access to loans, no? Yung medyo mapadali naman yung proseso. Huwag naman masyadong pahirapan yung ating mga magsasaka. And then, establishment of slaughterhouse kasi sa San Luis po ay wala pang slaughterhouse. Dumadayo pa kami sa ibang bayan para magpa-slaughter. And of course, more capacity development programs para ma-improve po yung kapasidad ng ating mga magsasaka at mga isda. More irrigation projects mula sa DA and NIA. And then, farm-to-market roads, syempre. Next slide po. More livelihood programs para sa ating mga isda. Ma-boost po natin yung ecotourism. Maayos po natin yung fisheries code ng San Luis. Ma-intensify po natin ang coastal law enforcement para po mahuli po natin yung mga nag-illegal fishing at saka yung mga nag-fish po dyan na walang permit sa amin, lalo na yung mga taga-ibang bayan. Of course, intensified information education campaign, mas malaking budget para sa aming opisina, and of course, additional manpower. Ma-share ko lang po sa inyo na next year po ay for implementation na po ang Mandanas Ruling. Dito po sa Mandanas Ruling, ang pondo po ng national government, lalo na ng DA, ay ita-download na po sa LGUs. Ngayon, tataas po ang IRA ng LGUs. Ang maganda po dito, maaari po naming i-allocate po ito sa mga programa na akma sa aming bayan. So, ang challenge lang po dito ay sana naman ay maging priority po ng ating local chief executive ang agrikultura at hindi po natin haluan ng politika ang pag-i-implement ng ating mga programa para sa ating mga farmers. So, yun naman po ay ganun pa man, ako naman po personally ay nakikipaglaban naman po para po sa ating mga magsasaka. So, yun po yung ating mga programa ng aming opisina na hopefully naman po ay, lalo na yung mga special programs po natin ay hopefully ay hindi lang yung San Luis ang makapag-conduct, kundi makonduct din siya ng ibang bayan. Kasi lalo-lalo na po dun sa scheduled planting, hindi lang po dapat San Luis ang nag-i-schedule ng planting, kailangan po ito ay province-wide, I think, and later on, kung pwede nga regional-wide, para po maiwasan po natin yung pagtataas at pagbaba ng presyo ng mga bilihin. Medyo ma-stabilize po natin yan at ma-eliminate po natin yung mga middlemen na nagpapataas ng presyo ng bilihin kasi napakakawawa na po ng ating mga magsasaka. And bago po ako magtapos po sa aking presentation, gusto ko lang pong magbigay ng ilang tips po kung paano po maging effective na municipal agriculturist. Para sa akin pong karanasan, I think very important na maging open-minded po tayo. Lalo-lalo na po yung mga graduate po ng UPLB na medyo matataas po ang tingin sa sarili. Well, yun naman po ay normal, ano? Wala namang problema doon. Pero kasi, pag nasa grassroots ka, may mga pagkakataon, mas magaling pa si farmer sa iyo eh. At some point, mas magaling pa po sila. And sa aking experience, I just became open-minded at naging open ako sa mga suggestions nila, sa recommendations nila, and naramdaman naman yun ng mga magsasaka na ako'y open. So in a way, naging open din sila sa akin. Kung ano yung kaya kong i-import, in-import ko, and kami ay nagkaayos. Naging maganda yun, naging harmonious yung relationship namin ng mga farmers. Na for sure naging iba ang tingin sa gobyerno for the longest time. At I think naman ngayon, bumabalik loob na sila at nakikita nilang may ginagawa naman pala si government para sa kanila. Hindi sila nakakalimutan. Mahalaga rin yung humility. Kailangan may mababa tayong loob, may compassion tayo para sa kanila. Hindi yung parang tayo pa yung mataas. Kahit po ako kahit po tayo ay nasa magandang posisyon ngayon, never kong pinapa-feel sa kanila na ako'y iba sa kanila. Mahalaga na maramdaman nila na ako'y isa rin sa kanila. Ako'y nakikipag-inuman with them. Ako'y kumakain sa kanila nang kasama sila kahit anong nakahain, kinakain ko. Hindi ako natatakot na madumihan. Ang aking mga kamay, pinaparamdam ko na ako'y kapamilya nila, kaisa nila. Mahalaga rin po yung patience dito sa trabaho ng pagiging MA kasi nung nagsimula ako noong 2014, kitang-kita ko kung gaano ka-left behind yung opisina. Pero I started from scratch. Pero through patience, through hard work, through asking questions sa aking mga senior agriculturist sa ibang bayan, ay naayos ko kung ano yung akma lang sa San Luis. No? Hindi ko kailangang maging kagaya ng Kalaka. Hindi ko kailangan maging kagaya ng Ibaan, ng Mabini, ng Bawan for example, or ng Tanawan. Kailangan lang magkaroon ng sariling identity ang San Luis at nag-focus ako so kung ano ang kapasidad o yung assets na meron si San Luis at yun yung vegetables. Mahalaga rin po na magkaroon tayo ng puso doon sa trabaho. Minsan kasi, lalo-lalo na doon sa mga kabataan po natin na hindi pa alam ang gustong gawin sa buhay, I think it is best to realize yung sinabi ni Atom Araulio na I think it is best to find your passion in the job that you have. Tama naman yung sinabi niya kasi hindi naman lahat ng dream job natin makukuha natin. So, ako sa case ko, nahanap ko kung ano yung gusto ko. Nahanap ko yung passion ko kasi I think this is already a calling for me. So, ako ay nagpapasalamat sa Diyos kasi ibinigay niya sa akin to at nakita ko yung purpose ko sa buhay. At sa lahat po ng mga kabataan dyan na gustong maging involved sa local government or even sa government in general, ay sana po tayo ay huwag mag-atubili na maging involved dito. Kasi naniniwala pa rin ako na ang kabataan ay ang pag-asa ng bayan and I think we can make a change. Kayang-kaya po natin po yan as long as meron po tayong puso to serve the people at yun po ang napakahalagang bagay na pwede po nating iambag sa ating community, yung puso. So once again, maraming salamat po sa pakikinig. Diyan po natatapos ang aking presentation. Mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Ayan, so congratulations po sa inyong very inspiring and motivating talk, Sir Rinco Hernandez. So base po sa kanyang nabanggit kanina, no, I just would like to highlight and echo the last part that he said. So as an agriculturist, or if you are an aspiring champion in agriculture, we always have to keep an open mind, be humble, be patient, at ang pinakang importante sa lahat ay magkaroon ng puso sa ating ginagawa. So maraming salamat po sa pag-share ninyo sa amin ng inyong experience as an agriculturist. So to our participants, just an update, we have more than 100 participants across all platforms. So meron po tayong mga nakakasama dito sa Zoom, sa Facebook page, and sa YouTube channel ng CAPS. If you have questions, kindly type them in our Q&A tab if you are with us here at Zoom. At kung kayo naman po ay nanonood sa Facebook and YouTube, you can chat them in the comment section. Okay, so at this point, siguro po ay nais naming tawagin. Yes, thank you so much. Ang ating napakagandang Q&A moderator. Allow me to introduce my colleague at the Institute of Animal Science, Ms. Blessy Hannah T. Malinaw, to moderate our Q&A and open forum. Hi, Ms. Blessy.
Hi, yes, good morning, Ma'am Kamala. Thank you very much for the introduction. And again, thank you also, Sir Rico, for giving us a walk through your humble yet cool journey as a municipal agriculturist in San Luis, Batangas. So to formally open the first part of our Q&A forum, this will be our first question, sent from an anonymous attendee. So maraming salamat po, Rinco, for sharing your experience at ganun din ang mga programa para sa ating mga farmers. Ang tanong ko po ay, noong nagsisimula ka pa lamang po bilang municipal agriculturist, ano-ano po ang naging challenges mo sa pag-i-implement ng mga programa ng iyong opisina at kamusta po ang naging pagtanggap ng mga farmers sa mga programang ito?
Okay. Hi, hello. Maraming salamat sa question. Well, nung nag-start ako as MA, I was 22 years old. So, ang struggle muna sa akin ay sa munisipyo. Kasi, syempre, hindi naman lahat ng mga tao ay nabibigyan ng ganitong kalaking oportunidad agad. Kasi yung iba, kailangan pa nilang pumasa ng civil service o kaya ay kailangan mag-retire muna yung head bago maging head. So, napaka-grateful lang ako doon sa binigay ni Lord na blessing sa akin. So, siguro isa sa mga challenges nung nagsisimula ako ay yung pakikipag-mingle sa aking mga katrabaho. Hindi naman doon sa opisina, no? Wala naman ako problema doon sa opisina. Doon sa ibang offices, kasi syempre, hindi natin may iwasan yung mainggit sila, doon sa aking current situation. Pero, I think, kailangan ko lang i-prove yung worth ko doon sa posisyon na hindi lang ako basta bata lang. Well, bata ako pero yung isip ko kasi medyo mature na rin kasi kaya siguro hindi rin naging mahirap sa akin na makipag-collaborate ako sa mga farmers. Sa mga farmers naman, ang first impression ko kasi sa kanila medyo wala na kasi silang tiwala sa government. Ako, sa halip na sila yung ma-intimidate sa akin, ako ang na-intimidate sa kanila ng first meet-up namin. Kasi kung di ako nagkakamali, I was presenting a good livelihood program para sa kanila. Pero kasi parang hindi sila into it eh. Parang medyo ang dami nilang questions. Pero through time, nakita ko yung own development sa kanila. Siguro yung as long as yung pure yung puso mo na tumulong sa kanila, ma-appreciate kasi nila yun eh. So hindi naman sa akin naging mahirap na makipagtulungan sa kanila. Mailatag yung mga programa ko. Kasi in a way, sila ay naging cooperative, very participative. Nag-change na rin yung kanilang mindset from being yung alam mo yun, kapag walang ayuda from the government, hindi sila attend na meeting. So hindi naging ganun yun. Whether meron sila makukuha makukuhang ayuda or what, a-attend sila ng meeting because they want to learn. Yun yung na-instill natin sa mga farmers natin. And ang maganda rin ito, natututunan din nilang maging autonomous din in a way. Kasi dati sila nga, nasanay sila na wala silang ayuda from the government. So, ngayon, kakayanin nila kung sakaling mawala uli yung ayuda from the government. So, ang gusto ko lang pong instill sa kanila, kailangan maging autonomous sila, maging independent sila, at magkaroon sila ng sariling pinagkakaabalahan. So, yun, hindi siya naging mahirap sa akin. Well, mahirap siya, mas nahirapan ako makipag-mingle sa mga katrabaho sa munisipyo. Pero doon sa farmers, hindi naman masyado.
Okay, sir, thank you. So that's good to hear na very participative naman pala and cooperative yung mga farmers natin sa ating mga programa. So may mga ilan pa tayong questions dito pero due to the time constraint po, siguro last question na po ito, sir. Ano-ano po ang mga hakbangin na ginawa ng inyong opisina to communicate with your partner agencies like you mentioned a while ago, Jollibee Food Group and also the supermarkets to know their needs for inputs and the marketing of the products po.
Okay. Dito po kasi sa mga proyekto po natin, napakahalaga po kasi noong relationship natin sa mga stakeholders kasi kaya kami nagkaroon ng partnership with Rustans ay dahil din sa tulong ng mga private people. Yan. Sila yung nag-introduce sa amin. So, malaki ang utang na loob ko sa kanila. So, ang masasabi ko dito, dapat collaborative effort to. Hindi lang dapat si LGU alone, hindi lang dapat si farmers, dapat meron ding government agencies and saka yung private stakeholders. Sila yung nag-introduce sa amin. Yung sa Jollibee, sila naman yung nag-invite sa amin na mag-venture into sa farmer entrepreneurship program. So iba-iba yung naging storya, pero basically ang gusto ko lang sabihin dito, mahalaga yung collaborative effort ng lahat ng sektor. Para maging fruitful and productive yung ating mga programa. Mahalaga din kasi sa pagiging MA kasi dapat may charm ka din. Yung ganon, no? Dapat maayos ka rin makipag-usap yung sa communication skills din and yung authenticity, kumbaga. So, kailangan ma-feel yun ng mga kausap mo para patuloy lang yung mga program.
Okay. Thank you, Sir Rinco. So, I think that closes the first part of our open forum. Thank you to everyone who sent in their questions. And again, thank you very much, Sir Rinco, for sharing your experience and inspiring the young ones as a municipal agriculturist.
Yun. Maraming salamat din po sa inyong lahat.
Turning back to you now, Ma'am Kamla.
Thank you, Ma'am Blessy, and thank you, Sir Rinco. Of course, Sir Rinco, hindi po tayo iiwan ni Sir Rinco sapagkat later on ay magpe-present pa tayo ng Certificate of Appreciation sa kanya. But at this juncture, once again, we would like to invite you, our dear participants, to use our official hashtag, that is #FutureOfAgriCOOLture. So when you are posting about this webinar, and how do we do that? Okay, you can either post a selfie or a status. For selfie, if you're feeling a little bit conservative, or if you're feeling a little aggressive, okay, pwede po tayong mag-take ng ating best selfie shot while you are tuning in to our webinar episode. And you can upload that in your Facebook accounts and use #FutureOfAgriCOOLture as our official hashtag. Kung kayo naman po ay medyo nahihiya, you can post a status, in your Facebook accounts based on what you have learned, what struck you the most, and your takeaways about this webinar. Okay, so now let's move over to the next part of our webinar. So, for another talk and another youth champions, allow me to introduce our second resource person. Okay, he is a young faculty with prolific research background. He obtained his Doctor of Philosophy degree from the Department of Entomology at the National Chongqing University in Taiwan. And currently, he works as an assistant professor at the same university. In 2014, he received the Best Paper Award during the 58th Conference of the Korean Society of the Sericultural Science. So, ladies and gentlemen, he also teaches various courses including entomology, microbiology, genetics, insect pathology, among many others. And today he will be talking about the life of PI or PI, Principal Investigator, establishment and development of insect microbial resources for controlling pests. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is my honor to introduce Dr. Yu Shin Nai. Nin hao. Nin hao, wai wai ing. Sir, excuse me, I think you're on mute.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, good morning, professors and everyone who attend to this meeting. And I'm very honored to be one of the invited speakers for this meeting. And I'm also very glad to share some of my research experiences for you in the following sessions. So I think it's very grateful for our young scientists to share our research work in this moment. Okay, let me introduce myself. I'm Yushinai from the Department of Entomology, and I think I have to share my PowerPoint, right? Yeah. Okay.
Hi, Sir Arthur. Can you assist Dr. Yushin Nai, please, in sharing his
Yeah.
PowerPoint?
Yeah. Let me set up the. Okay. Okay. Can you show my PowerPoint?
Sorry, sir, not yet.
Okay. How about now? Now?
No, sir. Okay, there you go. Yes, there you go, sir. You're good, sir.
Okay. I think I can. Sorry. And the second. Here. So can you see the PowerPoint of my? Is that okay?
Very well, sir. We can see it now.
Okay. So so the PowerPoint is okay, right?
Dai.
Okay. Okay, good morning, everyone. Let me start it again. I'm Yushinai from the Department of Entomology at National Chongqing University. And today I would like to share a topic about the life of a pie, or just the same with the moderators, PI. Okay, with the subtitle that establishment and development of insect microbial resources for controlling pest. Okay, as you know, Life of Pi is a very famous movie which was directed by the movie director Andy. But what is the connection between Life of Pi and my career life? That is my story that I want to talk today. Okay. But before we starting the talk, I would like to briefly introduce myself again. I graduated from the Department of Entomology at National Zhongxin University in 2004. And so I'm an entomologist. And then I got my master's degree and PhD degree in the Department of Entomology at National Taiwan University in 5 years. But believe me, that it may not really good actually. Okay, for my PhD, my major research is insect bacterioviruses. Therefore, my PhD thesis was focusing on the genomic sequence and analysis of one insect bacterioviruses which we found in Taiwan. Okay, so here is my academic majorities, including insect pathologies, insect pathogen genomics, and microbiome control, and last one is honeybee pathology. So here is my work list. So I know it's a quite long one, but I will just briefly introduce this part. After I got a PhD, I started a postdoc job in National Taiwan University and in the genomic research centers at academic Seneca until 2013. So it's a quite long time for a postdoc position. Yeah, I know. And then I found a research assistant professor position in Chungbu National University in South Korea. In that time, I started to doing the research about entomopathogen fungi. 1 year later, I got a chance to become the project assistant professor in National Yilan University in Taiwan for just 3 years until 2018. Okay, and finally, I come back to National Zhongxin University and to serve as an assistant professor in the Department of Entomology in 2020. I think although it took 11 years to find a formal job, actually, I think every job position, every step in my career life is meaningful for me. So let's return to the topic. When I looking back my job experiences, I suddenly found that it's a kind of connection to the movie which I have watched before. That is Life of Pi. Okay, so to my understanding, in that movie, the Pi experienced shipwreck and survived on the oceans, and then he started his fantastic traveling with some animals, and especially with the tiger in a boat. Okay, finally they overcome several difficulties and come back to the mainland, and the tiger then disappears in the forest. So what's the connection between my way to PI and the movie? I think I have somehow similar experiences to that of Pi. Okay, let's see the following. At first, I started my I have experienced PhD programs and the survival in the ocean of academia. So, and then I started my fantasy traveling with several postdoc positions and the project assistant position in Taiwan or in somewhere around the earth. Now I found an assistant professor in National Zhongxin University is something like a boat. So, okay, and but I think it's not the end of my career life. It's just the starting of my career life. So as a PI, the first challenge for me is to set up the research goal in my new lab, right? Okay, therefore I list some of the current goals in my lab. The first one is safeguard agriculture by discovering and developing a new microbiome and genetic-based strategies for pest control. The second goal is that I want to study the pathogen and the host interaction by omics technique, for example, the genomics, transcriptomics, and the proteomics to more comprehensive understanding the interaction between the insect pathogen and their host. So In the following slide, I would like to briefly share one of my current research project on entomopathogen fungi. And I believe that this project has potential to reach my goal for safeguard agriculture in the future soon. Actually, I studied this project for the entomopathogen fungi isolation and the selection from just 2018 until now. So as you can see, this picture shows how did we collect the soil sample and isolate the entomopathogen fungi. Okay, we collect the soil sample in different mountain area in Taiwan, and then we put the mealworm larvae into the soil samples and wait for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, we can see the fungal mycosis on the surface of mealworm larvae. And then we took this fungal infected sample out for the fungal isolation and the selections. But I soon realized that this process of fungal isolation and the selection is very heavy loading for me. So when I come back to NCHU and serve as assistant professors, I started to set up a SOP for entomopathogen fungi isolation and the selections. And the most important thing is the human resources. I started to recruit students and train them to do the routine job for me to help me to isolate and select entomopathogen fungi in Taiwan. So here is the SOP I set up, including 3 major parts. The first one part is isolation of entomopathogen fungi from the soil sample. Okay, the second one is pathogenicity screening of this entomopathogen fungi. And the last part of the SOP is to do the molecular identification of this entomopathogen fungi to better understanding the classification of these fungi. Okay, this is one of my students, and he was doing the molecular identification of entomopathogen fungi. Once we got the DNA sequence, we will perform the phylogenetic analysis to make sure the classification position of this fungal isolate. In summary, until now, we have isolated 2,063 fungal isolates from the soil sample. And among these fungal isolate, we found that there are 100 fungi showing insect killing activity, which means these fungi will be considered as entomopathogen fungi. And based on the molecular identifications, we found that most of them were belonging to the genus of Metarhizium, Berevia, and Fusarium, and some of them are Papacium and Cordyceps. And after we got this data set, we will upload the data set to the Google Cloud and to make the microbial resources database. So to further test the insect killing activity of this fungal isolate, we performed the pathogenicity screening against several crop pests, including the tomb aphid and the cabbage flea beetles, and tobacco cutworms. And all of the fungi we selected showing the high variance to this species of crop pest. And as we can see, the picture shows the mycosis of the entomopathogen fungi infected insect. Moreover, as we know, the fall armyworm is a quite serious pest all around the world. And in 2019, the fall armyworm just advanced into Taiwan and make a lot of damage on our crop system. So we also performed the pathogenicity screening against the fall armyworm larvae. And finally, we select 13 entomopathogen fungi isolate that showed higher variance to the fall armyworm larvae for our further studies. As you can see, here is the heat map of mortalities when we applied entomopathogen fungi on the fall armyworm larvae. And here is the mycosis of the fall armyworm larvae. So To further understanding the molecular classification of these 13 entomopathogenic fungi, we conduct a phylogenetic analysis based on some nucleus genes, and we found that among these 13 entomopathogenic fungi, there contained 2 species of the genera of Bavaria and 3 species of Metarhizian species. But this is not point. I think once I got this kind of data, and it's like look like all things be done very well. But I have to ask one question to myself. That the question is, there are many research groups have isolated and selected a lot of entomopathogenic fungi. However, why do these entomopathogenic fungi still difficult and failure to apply to the agricultural system? I think this is a very important question. So is that about the mass production of entomopathogenic fungi too low, or some environmental stress to the entomopathogenic fungi can impact on the virulence of entomopathogenic fungi in the crop system, or the virulence decrease after several passaging? So this is all the factors we have to address. To solve these problems, I started to thinking that how if we can set up the stress selection system in our lab, and to ranking the entomopathogenic isolate with higher stress tolerance, and then we can apply this selected entomopathogenic fungi isolate to the crop with high possibility to success control the insect. Therefore, I choose 2 parameters, including conidia production and thermal tolerance, to roughly establish the ranking system of entomopathogenic fungi in our lab. So this is the result of conidia production of 13 entomopathogenic fungi isolate. So we can see, in general, the Bavaria species usually have a higher conidia production than that of Metarhizian species. But let's separate it. Among Bavaria species, the NCHU 157 isolate showed highest conidia production, and the NCHU 9 isolate showed highest conidia production within the Metarhizian species. And this is the result of thermal tolerance of 13 entomopathogenic fungal isolate. We found that Metarhizian species show higher thermal tolerance to those of Bavaria species. Among these isolates, the NCHU 124 show highest thermal tolerance within the Metarhizian species, and NCHU 153 show highest thermal tolerance within the Bavaria species. Okay, the point is, how can I combine these 2 parts of the data set to make a ranking system of entomopathogenic fungi? So therefore, I try to do this job to combine the data of conidia production and the thermal tolerance to generate the formula of effective conidia spore number, we call ECN formula. Based on this formula, we can rank top 1 or top 2 entomopathogenic fungal isolate with highly stress tolerance. Based on this result, Metarhizian isolate NCHU 124 and Bavaria isolate NCHU 157 were selected for further bioassay against 4-armyworm larvae. Okay, this is the bioassay result of bioassay. As we can see, these 2 selected entomopathogenic fungi isolate showed high variance against 4-armyworm larvae and with a dosage-dependent effect. And this result was generated by one of my undergraduate students in my lab. So this is her poster. Okay, once we got this progress, I definitely sure about that. Every researcher like me to do the entomopathogenic fungi or microbiome control of insect to be asked the same question in this stage. The question is, for entomopathogenic fungi, the time for killing pests is still slower than the chemical pesticide, right? So how can I deal with this kind of problem or issue? So to fight with this kind of questions, I want to propose a concept that called Integrated Microbial Control of Pests, INCP. For this concept, it could be performed by the following three ways, including the first point is we can combine the different kind of microbiome together to present the synergy effect. The second one is we can combine the microbiome and with other adjuvant to enhance the insecticidal activities. And the last one is we can combine the microbiome and with other epigenetic regulators, for example, double-chain RNA, to suppress the pest or the insect or the host performance and increase the insecticidal activity for these combinations. But another question is rising up. The question is, can we increase the efficiency of insect killing activity of this entomopathogenic fungi based on this concept, INCP? I think the answer is yes. And here in this slide, I bring some encouraging case for INCP. This is our preliminary result in our lab. And as the data shows, we can see that a combination of lower concentrate of entomopathogenic fungi isolate NCHU 124 and 157 with the adjuvant, we found that it could be dramatically increase the intestinal activity of this entomopathogenic fungi. Moreover, and we also found that mycosis of this entomopathogenic fungi could still found in the infected 4-armyworm larvae. It means we can make it is possible to improve, largely improve the microbiome control strategy by this kind of concept. So I think this concept would be very great and useful for the sustainable agricultural applications in the future. And it will be very surprising to all the farmers and all the users. Okay, in the end of this talk, I think I have kept some example for my research experiences. But I think there are still many challenges in the futures. And although my life of Pi have somehow similar to that of movies, but I think there should be one point is different. The point is my fantastic traveling will just keep it going and going, and I have no idea where is the final destinations. But that's why I love research. Okay, I would like to thank all the members in our laboratory, and they do a lot of job and do a lot of good job. And also, I would like to thank all my cooperators in NRU groups, in Korea groups, and in GRC group. And also, I would like to thank to my advisor, Professor Wang Chongxiong. And the funding supported was by the MOST and Agriculture Institute in Taiwan and RDA in Korea. Okay, thank you for your attention.
Thank you once again, Dr. Yu Shin Nai. Thank you for sharing with us your research experiences. And indeed, I really love the analogy that you made there about life in academia and how it can get overwhelming sometimes, and the movie Life of Pi. Okay, so now I guess our young audiences are so excited to interact with you. We now turn you over for our Q&A session to Miss Blessy Hannah T. Malinaw. Once again,
Okay.
welcome back, Ma'am Blessy.
Thank you again, Ma'am Kamla. Thank you also, Dr. Yushinai, for the very
Yeah,
insightful
thank you.
presentation on your cool life as principal investigator of insect microbial resources. So for our first question, we have a question here. What motivated or inspired you to take entomology as a field of expertise?
Inspire me.
Yeah.
I'm ashamed to talking about this because in the beginning, I didn't think about I will be an entomologist because in the college times I have a lower score. I'm not very put a lot of effort on the experiment, but I think the most important persons in my life, in my career life, is my supervisor, Professor Wang Chongxiong, because in that time he pushed me a lot, and suddenly I realized I have to find my really lovely job, and I want to focusing on that. So during my master and PhD degree programs, I starting to think about that, what I want during my student periods, and then I found that I'm quite interested on this kind of topic, insect pathology or microbial control something. So I really started to change my attitude from the college time. Yeah. So I've worked very hard every day, and really finally I found that the things I really interested in that. I think this is one of my philosophy. Yeah.
That's good to hear, Dr.
Yeah.
Shinai. We have two more questions here.
Okay.
So another question, have you tried applying the EPF isolates directly to plants infested with insects? So apart from being an insecticide, how did it affect the host plant?
You mean the host plant?
Yeah, wherein the insects are present. Have you tried applying the EPF isolates to the plant directly?
Yeah. Before we apply the animal pathogen fungi to the plant, we were doing the test. But as we know, some barrier strain or some bacterial strains have some symbiotic relationship between the plants. So I think the animal pathogen fungi is somehow very safe to the plant. Yeah. So, but before we conduct to the large scale apply to the crop system, we still have to test. Yeah. Okay.
I see. So another question is it possible to commercialize the fungal isolates as pest controllers? I think you've already discussed a portion of this, but it will be very tedious, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it entails more research for this to happen.
Yeah, that's why now we are just doing this job is just on the way. We are trying to apply the patterns with the combinations, but I think only animal pathogen fungi could not be applied to the crop system very well. But you have to think about any possibility to enhance this formulation and to increase the variance of animal pathogen fungi, especially in the natural environment. Because as we know, the natural environment have a lot of stress. For example, UV, and in Taiwan is a tropic area is quite hot in the summertime. So all the natural stress will affect the conidia germination rate in the natural environment. So we have to overcome this. I think this formulation can be a very highly potential to overcome these problems in the future. Okay, so that's what I just doing in this way. Okay, so we are trying to apply the pattern. I think maybe in the future we can commercialize animal pathogen fungi isolate soon. Okay.
We're looking forward to that, sir. So maybe just to close the forum, Dr. Yushinai, as a youth champion in your field, in your opinion, how important is the role of young minds to the field of research in discovering and developing technologies and strategies that are useful to the field of agriculture or science in general? How
Excuse me.
uh, I'll state it again. So, in your
Yeah.
opinion, how important is the role of the youth or the young minds in the field of research?
Young. You mean young?
Young researchers, yeah, how
Yeah.
important are how can they contribute in the field of research
Okay.
to discover and develop technologies like yours?
Yes. I think for my opinions, when I'm doing this kind of project, so I already know there are many professors doing the same projects to isolate some microbiome from the environment to control the pest, and almost all of them talk to me. You cannot achieve the animal pathogen fungi to apply to the crops, but for our young scientists, we just do it without any hesitate. Yeah, because we can try the different possibility to overcome the problem which the researcher before they met before. So I think for young scientists, we have to throughout the problem from the other professors or the other researcher, you just believe yourself and to search a lot of reference and think it more about your project, and you can overcome this kind of problems to get new achievements in your project. Yeah, that's my opinion.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Yushinai, for answering the questions and for the very meaningful discussion. And also thank you to the participants who sent in their questions. So that ends our open forum. Back to you now, Ma'am Kamla.
Thank you so much po, Ma'am Blessy and Dr. Yushin Nai. So this morning, everybody, we have heard two very different stories from our featured agriculture youth champions. So one who is focused more on research and instruction and forwarding science through his works in agriculture. And another one who is more grounded and humble in his work as a public servant and as a municipal agriculturist. So nonetheless, we are nothing but inspired this morning by the limitless possibilities that agriculture can offer to our young students. So to express our appreciation, kindly flash on screen our certificate of appreciation. Okay, there you go. The College of Agriculture and Food Science, University of the Philippines, Los Baños, College Laguna awards this certificate of appreciation to Mr. Rinco Hernandez. Okay, there you go. For his talk, The Humble Journey of an Agriculturist. Okay, for serving as a resource person for this topic. Under the webinar program Rebooting Agriculture in the New Normal, held on the 22nd of June 2021 via Zoom. Given this 22nd day of June 2021 at the College of Agriculture and Food Science, University of the Philippines, Los Baños. Signed, Dr. Pompes C. Santa Cruz, Chair of the CAPS Webinar Committee. Signed, Dr. Elpidio M. Agdisit Jr., Dean of the College of Agriculture and Food Science. Okay, a round of applause, everybody, for Mr. Rinco Hernandez. Thank you very much. And the same certificate of appreciation is hereby awarded to, okay, Dr. Yu Shin Nai. Next slide, please.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. For serving as a resource person for the topic, Life of PI, Establishment and Development of Insect Microbial Resources for Controlling Pests during the Aggie Talk 5.0 AgriCOOLture Young Champions under the webinar program Rebooting Agriculture in the New Normal, held on the 22nd of June 2021 via Zoom. Given this 22nd day of June 2021 at the College of Agriculture and Food Science, University of the Philippines, Los Baños. Signed, Dr. Pompes Santa Cruz, and signed, Dr. Elpidio M. Agdisit Jr. Let's give him a big virtual round of applause. Okay, so thank you very much again to our dear speakers. Just a few reminders to our participants. To get your e-certificates, kindly fill out our evaluation form. The link is provided in our chat box, or you can access it through bit.ly/agriculture EP7. So that's AgriCOOLture with the emphasis on the word cool. Or you may simply use our QR code na makikita po ninyo sa inyong mga screens. You can just scan it using your smartphones. Don't forget to follow us on our Facebook page and on our YouTube channel at UPLB College of Agriculture and Food Science to stay updated with our latest activities. So lastly, allow us to invite you to our last, okay, we are marching towards the final episode of Aggie Peace Talk 5.0. At hindi po natin palalampasin ito. Syempre, makakasama po natin ang isa pa ng, ang dalawa pang youth champions in agriculture. They are Mr. Brian Matthew V. Katigbak, Vice President for Operations of Batangas Agribusiness Center Incorporated. And of course, our very own Mr. Professor Ryan Rodrigo Tayobong, Assistant Professor at the Institute of Crop Science, College of Agriculture and Food Science. So register now if you haven't already. The link is provided. Makikita nyo po yan sa aming Facebook page. Okay, so to wrap up today's session, let us call on the Deputy Director of the Institute of Animal Science. And according to Dean's according to Dr. Agvisit's word, she is the most hardworking Deputy Director at IAS. Okay, so let's all welcome Dr. Christine B. Adiova. Hi, Ma'am Dean.
Good morning po. So good morning, everyone. On behalf of the College of Agriculture and Food Science, I would like to thank our agriculture youth champions this morning. Thank you so much, Dr. Yu Shin Nai and Mr. Rinco Hernandez, for sharing your stories with us. Thank you so much for your passion for agriculture, and we were really inspired with your stories. Thank you also to the hardworking staff of the College of Agriculture and Food Science. Thank you po for the committees headed by Dr. Pompe Santa Cruz, Dr. Barbara Kawili, and Dr. Adelisa Dorado. Thank you so much din po to Dean Pids Agvisit for the support for this event. And also, I would like to thank our participants who joined us today via different platforms. I hope that you were also inspired by today's webinar. So again, good morning po and have a nice day. Thank you, Ma'am Kamla.
Maraming salamat po, Doc Tin. At muli, nais po naming pasalamatan ang aming mga guest speaker, ang aming mga very active and engaging participants dito sa ating webinar series. Okay, at nais din po nating pasalamatan syempre ang presensya ng ating dekano, Dr. Elpidio M. Agvisit Jr. and ang aming Deputy Director sa IAS, Dr. Christine B. Adiova. Okay, and lastly, we would like to thank the entire CAPS webinar committee for organizing this event, and of course, the IAS webinar committee with Ms. Blessing Hana T. Malinaw, Ms. Christine Camille B. Tenorio, and Ms. Sissima P. La Vega for serving as Q&A moderator and technical support staff this morning. So once again, don't forget to tell us about your love story with agriculture by posting a status or by posting your selfie using the hashtag #FutureOfAgriCulture. Everyone, please stay safe and enjoy the rest of your morning. Have a productive and safe day ahead. Maraming salamat po. Thank you so much. Sisianiman. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Hail college dear, thou learning's fountain, head of worth untold. We proudly sing thy praise and wave thy flags of green and gold. We love thy fields and pastures where our daily work is done, and nature's endless secrets are unraveled one by one. Agriculture college dear, devoted sons will ever be. Unceasing inspiration do we always draw from thee. We come from all the regions of this eastern island fair, and trustingly we place ourselves in thy protecting care. With mouths like healing, standing guard in its majestic hue, and lagunas pleasant waters lending splendor to the view. With lights of sunshine, there is no place more charming, blessed with God's more bounteous gifts. Agriculture college dear, devoted sons will ever be. Unceasing inspiration do we always draw from thee. We come from all the regions of this eastern island fair, and trustingly we place ourselves in thy protecting care. Agriculture college dear,